Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are back on F1 22 as always. And in today's video, we are actually going to be discussing the new 1.15 patch, so the 15th patch in this game. Always like to make a video on the latest patch, especially when it proves to be quite significant. And the main news of this patch is that the car liveries, or should I say the visual F1 Sport liveries, have been updated to match the cars to a lot closer to what they are in real life, which I know a lot of people, especially on the last couple of patch videos I did, were shouting out about. So that's what has happened here. You can see we were looking at the Red Bull, Mercedes and the Aston Martin. I think especially the Aston Martin and the Alpine look particularly much more improved. And what we're going to be talking about in this video, as we show two 5-lap races here, starting in the Ferrari in this one, is not just how the cars look better, but also just how the game feels much better. And the reason why I say that is because, of course, within the patches, they always discuss about various other fixes or general stability improvements, but they've also added in about where the force feedback has now been improved, where fixed an issue in certain circumstances, players received a jolt to the wheel instead of a fade in the feeling of the force feedback, which I can confirm, especially when I was using my podium wheel, sometimes on a straight, it would make a very loud bang, which didn't feel very healthy for the wheelbase at all. But for me, and a lot of other people in this lobby, who are most of these guys are my YouTube members, so thank you so much for joining and taking part in these lobbies, also said that the force feedback and just the handling in general felt much better. And most people said that it just felt a lot smoother. And for me, my biggest complaint I've had about this game is the inconsistency in the force feedback and the traction and how you're going on curbs as well. I don't know if it's just placebo, but it feels just smoother and just more consistent, and I don't know if that is me going crazy. So again, please give me feedback of your experience with this latest patch. Other than the visuals of the car, do they feel different to you as well? Because if we go back to the patch notes, or not only deliveries but just the actual car model has improved and been closer to real life. And quite often on previous F1 games, cars that had a shorter wheelbase or a longer wheelbase did provide some differences in the characteristics of the car itself. And I wonder, maybe that's why it actually feels a bit different. But, you know, this is always a speculation. Maybe there isn't a difference, but it wasn't just myself. A lot of people actually said it before I even mentioned it in my own Discord, about how the game just feels much smoother, and just the force feedback through the wheel and just going on the traction, it just felt a much more satisfying experience, a much more connected experience. And that is something I just noticed straight away, and I only played the game on Saturday, so yeah, I don't know what they've done. But you know, typically these videos are normally complaining about a few things and being quite critical. But I have to say, and I've always said this, when they do something right, I'll definitely praise it. And yeah, this patch so far, I'd say it's probably one of the best patches that there has been. Something just feels a bit different in these cars itself. But again, not just myself. The experience I know can very much vary depending on the user, depending on the platform, depending on the input device they have. So I have seen other people say that their OFD no longer works, or things such as that. I think there's always going to be some bugs that creep in, but yeah, if we can make more improvements than issues, then it certainly is a step in the right direction. And also, just let me know how you think the cars look. Obviously, it's quite hard to see the Ferrari here because we have quite a bright sunlight. You can see it a bit better here now. Definitely looks structurally quite different to how it was. And yeah, I have done other videos in the Aston Martin and the Red Bull, which I will be uploading at a little bit of a later date, because I actually did quite a few lobbies today. I think I did over 10 races. It was actually the most fun I've had, I would say, ever since the release of the game. Playing F122, it just felt so much more connected to the car, and it just felt satisfying to play. And that's the thing I've always said, when the game feels more connected and satisfying, you don't need supercars or F1 Life, which I don't think really add anything to the game anyway. When the racing feels good itself, people will keep playing, and they will probably buy it again the next year, which, I know there's new fans coming into the game series and the sport itself, but you want to be keeping your existing ones as well, because as I said in my previous video, without people buying the game, or fans of a football club, to use it as an example, you can't function at all. And I think that's where a lot of big corporations, maybe such as EA, other companies, they don't really fear that because they always have the numbers. But never say never. No, you never know what can happen in the future. And whether that contract is up with the F1 license, there might be another company that comes in that doesn't charge such a high price, or F1 decide to give someone else another chance. You just never know, which is why I think it's important to build a good reputation, not with journalists and people who review the game before it's even out, because I don't think those reviews you can really take seriously at all. But I think actually what the community thinks, I think that is something that really is important in the longevity of pretty much anything, really, a company or business or a gaming developer. I think reputation and just integrity and trying to always do good, I think, is something that definitely pays off in the long run. But you can see here from this footage, having a really good time. Started on the back road, we're not quite last, 19th, all the way up into first. We actually got Mr. Elite in here as well, who actually had a drive-through penalty, still almost won the race. He's absolutely insane. We actually do have we do quite a lot of videos on Elite, but he is obviously just an incredible driver on this game, which I think will be moving over to PC shortly. We had actually quite a nice race of him around Silverstone, which we will be uploading at a future date. But you can see here, we get an absolutely rocket ship start coming off here at Austria in the McLaren, which I think every livery and car model has changed a little bit slightly. And yeah, really, really good start. False feedback was feeling very, very nice. And especially over the curbs as well, braking over the curbs. I always had a big issue with that myself. I don't know what it is, but just driving on this patch, it just feels just a lot smoother and just more consistent. And yeah, again, really interested to hear what everyone else thinks, because it's not just one or two people. It's about what the majority thinks. And please put down below what you still want them to improve in the game itself, because I think videos such as this and just putting pressure on the developer on what the community wants, rather than posting it on a forum, actually doing it in a video or online, I think gets listened to just much, much more. And when they can see there's a lot of interest in that and people are happy with these updates, I think it's going to motivate them to do a lot more. Because another thing that's involved in this update is the tyre allocation, where I think if it says, going back to here, added an option to allow the player more flexibility in tyre selection per session during a race weekend, which I haven't actually looked at yet. But I really do hope that means we can run 2 mediums or 2 hards in a race, which I'm pretty sure is allowed in real life. That's the one thing of league racing in this game. You only have one set of mediums and hards, and it really, unless there's a safety car, it's hard to medium, and that is the strategy to be on. If there's no safety car, there is absolutely no strategy to do at all. So I think having the option to maybe even do 2-stop in some races and maybe things like that will just add a lot more excitement into the game itself. So I really hope that we do get the option of using more than one set of medium and hards, especially if there are safety cars in the race, because then if you have to rely on going to the hard tyre, there's just not much diversity on what you can do with the strategy at all. But you can see here getting a really good run coming off turn 1 up into P5 here, and yeah, I was having a really nice time playing this. And again, thank you so much to all my YouTube members who were involved in these lobbies. If you'd like to be involved, all you have to do is just click that join button or just click the YouTube membership link down below. I'm going to be doing a lot more open lobbies, which I've started off with today, this week, and for the future. I've got a little bit more free time now, and also I update all my updated setups in the Discord, and there's also a discount on one-to-one coaching, which I have just opened up new slots on www.coachlimitless.com. And you can see up into P5 here, had quite a few quick people in this lobby. I think there's a guy called Volcano or something like that who I think is about to cross the line. Don't see him do the fastest lap here. I think he's up in the lead of this race, so we're playing a bit of chicken with the DRS here. So trying to get a good run on the AlphaTauri on the exit. Going to be saving our ERS for this final lap, because I can see this guy up ahead and Goxley, they're both red lights, or both red lights, if I can speak, are flashing. So we're just going to play a bit of the patient game. Knew that it was only really third place that we could do maximum from here, because it is quite difficult Austria to gain some positions. And coming off exit here, we're just going to stay behind. Got quite a lot of the ERS on board, and yeah, again, I don't think this is. I think this is probably the most fun I've actually had playing open lobbies on this game since the release of it, which obviously a release of a game is always going to be quite exciting. But yeah, recently I think people could tell as well during my streams and videos and other things that that guy unfortunately has gone off. But yeah, I was just getting a bit tired of this game itself, and yeah, just this little change here. If they have actually done something or unintentionally done something to the handling model, it just feels a lot more satisfying to play, that's for sure. So we're going to make our way past Marit. It's Volcano Master who's got the fastest lap of the race here. Let's see if we can beat that on the final lap. So we're going to give it all of our ERS as much as we possibly can and come through 100-meter board, and missing the apex actually by quite a bit, so that's going to cost me quite a lot of time. Now going through into this middle sector, really do love these two left-handers. An element of commitment and discipline at the same time. Just after that curb ends, that is your turning in point. Getting on the ERS, using all, you can see we're making up a bit of time on the leaders here, going through the last couple of corners, absolutely just throwing the car into here. Keeping in 5th gear, going for this last corner and going across the line. What is this going to be? It's going to be a 105.2, which I think there was actually quite a bit of time left in that as well. But thank you so much for the support on the channel. I hope you enjoyed this. Please, again, let me know what your thoughts are of this recent patch and what things you would still like to see be improved and updated in this game. For me, but this is actually probably one of the best patches we have had so far. So thank you so much, and I will catch you very soon. Peace.